Barcelona fans awoke this summer to news that seemed almost unthinkable. After decades defined by fierce city rivalry and an unwritten rule against direct transfers, Barcelona has crossed the ultimate divide and signed Joan Garcia from city neighbors Espanyol. The move sent shockwaves not just through Catalonia but across the entire football world. The cost of this dramatic switch? A staggering release clause of €25 million, with inflation adjustments, making it one of the most expensive goalkeeper transfers in Spanish football history. But behind the headline-grabbing fee and the emotional fallout, an even bigger question now looms. Can Barcelona, a club still reeling financially from years of crisis, truly afford such a gamble? And what does this mean for the future of their legendary number one, Marc-André ter Stegen, who has guarded the Camp Nou net for almost a decade? To really understand the magnitude of this transfer, we need to rewind and examine the deep roots of the Barcelona-Espanyol rivalry. For generations, these two clubs have represented more than just opposing football philosophies. They have embodied different identities within the city itself. Transfers between the two, especially direct ones, have been almost unheard of. In fact, you have to go all the way back to the summer of 1994 to find the previous direct move between these historic adversaries. That's more than 3 decades of taboo, broken in a single, audacious stroke. But why Garcia? The answer lies in his phenomenal rise over the past season. At only 24 years old, Joan Garcia was widely hailed as Espanyol's savior. Despite Espanyol's struggles, Garcia's performances in goal were nothing short of heroic. Many analysts believe he almost single-handedly kept Espanyol afloat in La Liga, making dozens of crucial saves and exuding a calmness that belied his years. His reputation spread quickly. Wojciech Szczesny, a veteran among Europe's top goalkeepers, declared Garcia the best goalkeeper in La Liga for the 2024 to 2025 campaign. Sergi Gomez, who spent years battling against the best forwards in Spain, went even further. He described Garcia as the best goalkeeper in the world for his lightning-fast reflexes, his courage in one-on-one situations, and his remarkable ability to play passes out from the back, an essential quality in the modern game. For Barcelona, securing Garcia was more than just making a splash in the market. It was a strategic, perhaps even existential, move. The club, now under the stewardship of new manager Hansi Flick, is desperate for fresh energy and real competition within the squad. Flick, who arrived with a reputation for demanding intensity and tactical flexibility, inherited a Barcelona side that had become dangerously reliant on a handful of core players. Sporting director Deco has been candid in his assessments, warning that Barcelona's overdependence on a small group, especially in key positions, has made them vulnerable both in Spain and in European competition. All of this is set against a sobering economic backdrop. Barcelona's finances have teetered on the brink in recent years, battered by a combination of pandemic losses, mismanagement, and sky-high player wages. The club's debt reached historic highs, with some estimates placing it above €1 billion at its peak. The recent economic recovery has been slow, fragile, and incomplete. Every decision at Camp Nou is now scrutinized not just for its sporting merit, but for its financial sustainability. It's within this context that Barcelona made the bold choice to activate Garcia's release clause, paying the full €25 million directly to La Liga, as required by Spanish football regulations. The payment, routed through the player's agents, was nearly instantaneous. In exchange, Garcia signed a 6-year contract, tying him to Barcelona until the summer of 2031. His new salary rockets to around €3 million per season, a massive leap from the $400,000 he earned at Espanyol, and a reminder of the financial muscle, even if weakened, that Barcelona can still flex. Espanyol, for their part, have been left to pick up the pieces. The club is still grappling with a €77 million debt, and losing their talismanic goalkeeper is a bitter pill to swallow. For their fans, the transfer is seen as a betrayal, a reminder of the power imbalances that still define Spanish football, and a blow to their hopes of building a stable future. But the true drama is unfolding in Barcelona's own dressing room. The arrival of Garcia puts immediate pressure on Marc-André ter Stegen, the club's German goalkeeper, captain, and fan favorite. Ter Stegen is a modern Barcelona legend. He has lifted multiple La Liga titles, a Champions League trophy, and has played through adversity with resilience and grace. But his contract, negotiated during the height of Barcelona's financial crisis, is a ticking time bomb. He is owed around €10 million net per year for the next 3 years, thanks to pandemic-era deferrals designed to ease the club's wage bill in the short term. This situation has created a perfect storm. Is Barcelona really prepared to pay astronomical wages to two world-class goalkeepers at the same time? Or is Joan Garcia's arrival a sign that the club is preparing for a changing of the guard, a transition away from Ter Stegen, who, despite his legendary status, is now in his early 30s and facing mounting injury concerns? La Liga president Javier Tebas has already stepped into the fray. In a pointed warning, he reminded Barcelona that they must meet the league's strict salary cap requirements to register Garcia as a player. If Barcelona cannot clear enough space on their wage bill, the entire transfer could grind to a halt, with Garcia left in limbo and Barcelona exposed to regulatory penalties. This is not an idle threat. Barcelona fans still remember the chaos of recent summers, when the club struggled to register new signings, sometimes missing key windows and losing out on top targets. Expert observers, including the respected analyst Paul Ballas, suggest that Barcelona's move for Garcia is part of a broader, carefully orchestrated succession plan. According to Ballas, Garcia's signing could be the first domino to fall in a chain of changes at Camp Nou. The club might be preparing not just for fresh competition, but for a full-scale transition in goal, a shift that could free up salary space, allow for reinvestment in other positions, and reshape the team's identity for the next decade. As the dust settles from this seismic transfer, fans and pundits alike are left to speculate. Will Ter Stegen and Garcia engage in a fierce battle for the #1 shirt, risking tension and division in the dressing room? Or is Barcelona preparing to offload their captain, solving a complex financial puzzle at the cost of emotional upheaval? The stakes couldn't be higher. Barcelona's handling of this delicate transition will have ramifications far beyond the pitch. The club's ambitions in the Champions League, their ability to attract and nurture young talents like Diego Kochen, and even their reputation for responsible stewardship in an era of financial fair play, all hang in the balance. Let's dig deeper into potential scenarios. If Ter Stegen remains at Barcelona, the club could boast arguably the strongest goalkeeping duo in Spain, or even in all of Europe. This would echo the strategy used by elite clubs such as Real Madrid in the late 1990s, who rotated top-class keepers to maintain peak performance. However, it's a double-edged sword. Both Garcia and Ter Stegen are used to being undisputed starters. The competition could push them to new heights, but it could just as easily ignite a rivalry that destabilizes the team. Dressing room politics in football are notoriously complex, and splitting loyalties among teammates can have far-reaching consequences for team morale and on-field performance. Alternatively, Barcelona might decide that the financial burden of two elite goalkeepers is simply unsustainable. In this scenario, the club could look to move Ter Stegen on, cashing in on his considerable reputation and transferring his hefty salary off their books. Such a move would free up funds for reinforcements in other critical areas, especially the wings, where Deco, the sporting director, has openly identified a need for more depth. The proceeds from a Ter Stegen transfer could be reinvested in promising young talents, helping Barcelona future-proof their squad against injuries and fixture congestion. However, selling a club legend is never straightforward. Fans develop deep emotional ties to players like Ter Stegen, whose contributions have shaped some of Barcelona's greatest modern moments. The backlash could be fierce, both from the stands and within the squad itself. The risk of destabilizing the team's leadership structure is real, and any missteps could have lasting consequences. There's also a practical angle to consider. La Liga's financial fair play rules are among the strictest in the world. Tebas's warning is not just rhetoric. Clubs that fail to comply face sanctions ranging from registration bans to hefty fines. Barcelona's wage bill, even after recent reductions, remains among the highest in Europe. The margin for error is razor thin. Recent history has shown the dangers. Just a few years ago, Barcelona were unable to register new signings on time, forcing them to scramble for last-minute solutions, and in some cases, miss out on key targets altogether. Barcelona's boldness also sends a message to the wider football world. In an era where clubs are increasingly run like corporations, balancing short-term sporting ambition against long-term financial health has become both an art and a science. Barcelona's approach to risk management, juggling salary caps, multi-year contracts, and the need for constant squad renewal is a case study for business leaders and sports executives alike. It demonstrates how even the most storied institutions must adapt, innovate, and sometimes break with tradition to stay competitive. Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the historical context. Direct transfers between rivals are rare in world football, but when they happen, they often signal a period of dramatic change. In 1974, Johan Cruyff made the controversial switch from Ajax to Barcelona, transforming not just the club, but the city's entire football culture. In England, Sol Campbell's move from Tottenham Hotspur to Arsenal in 2001 redefined North London's football landscape. Joan Garcia's transfer, while not involving an outfield superstar, could have a similar impact in Catalonia, reshaping allegiances, fueling new narratives, and redefining what is possible in the modern game. Meanwhile, Barcelona faces its own existential questions. The club's financial model is under unprecedented scrutiny. Years of lavish spending, combined with the economic shock of the COVID pandemic, have left Barcelona with little room for error. In the 2021 financial year, the club posted record losses, exceeding €400 million. Since then, efforts to cut costs have included salary reductions, player sales, and creative accounting maneuvers, some of which have drawn criticism from La Liga officials and rival clubs. And yet, the allure of silverware and the pressure to compete at the highest level remain as strong as ever. Sporting director Deco has been vocal about the need to strengthen the squad in key areas, particularly the wings. With Ousmane Dembele's departure and ongoing injuries to key forwards, Barcelona's attacking depth has been stretched to the limit. The hope is that savings generated by a potential Ter Stegen transfer could be reinvested in wide players, giving Barcelona the firepower they need to challenge both domestically and in Europe. Turning our focus back to Joan Garcia, it's important to appreciate just what he brings to Barcelona. Garcia is part of a new generation of Spanish goalkeepers, technically skilled, comfortable on the ball, and fearless under pressure. His ability to launch quick counterattacks with pinpoint distribution sets him apart from many of his peers. In the past season alone, Garcia recorded one of the highest save percentages in La Liga, outperforming even established stars. His command of the penalty area, combined with his leadership qualities, has drawn comparisons to great Barcelona keepers of the past, like Victor Valdés and Andoni Zubizarreta. Yet, with youth comes inexperience. The challenge for Garcia will be to adapt quickly to the unique pressures of playing for Barcelona, where every mistake is magnified and expectations are sky-high. The Camp Nou faithful are famously demanding, and the media scrutiny can be relentless. Success at Espanyol, while impressive, is not a guarantee of success in the high-pressure cauldron of Barcelona. The integration of Joan Garcia will also have ripple effects on the club's younger prospects, such as Diego Cochin. Barcelona has long prided itself on developing goalkeeping talent through its famed La Masia Academy. The arrival of a young, proven La Liga star could either inspire the next generation or block their pathway to the first team, depending on how the coaching staff manages the transition. So, what can we learn from Barcelona's gamble? Above all, it is a masterclass in risk management and strategic planning. The club is betting that investing in Garcia now will secure the goalkeeper position for years to come, allowing for greater stability and the possibility of selling high-value assets to balance the books. It's a bold move, but one that carries significant risks. Should Garcia struggle to adapt, or should the financial pressures mount further, Barcelona could find itself in an even more precarious position, forced to make tough choices about player sales, wage reductions, or even further restructuring. For fans and students of global economics, Barcelona's approach provides valuable lessons. The intricate dance around salary caps, multi-year contracts, and the need to constantly reinvent the squad is a microcosm of challenges faced by organizations worldwide. Balancing tradition with innovation, honoring past legends while embracing the future, and making tough decisions under financial constraints. These are dilemmas familiar to businesses and sports clubs alike. There is also a lesson in loyalty and change. In football, as in life, sometimes the most difficult choices are the ones that secure long-term success. Barcelona's willingness to break taboos, invest in new talent, and potentially move on from beloved figures is a testament to the club's commitment to building a sustainable future. As Hansi Flick, the new coach, put it, "We need competition for every spot. That's how you build champions." As the new season approaches, the questions multiply. Will Joan Garcia justify his reputation as the best goalkeeper in La Liga, as Wojciech Szczesny claimed? Can he fill the boots of Marc-André ter Stegen, one of the most decorated goalkeepers of his generation? Will Barcelona's financial gamble pay off, or will it add to the club's recent woes? One thing is clear. This transfer marks a turning point in Barcelona's modern history. Not only is it the first direct move between Barcelona and Espanyol in more than 30 years, It is also a symbol of the changing landscape of global football, where tradition, emotion, and financial realities collide. So, what is your verdict? Should Barcelona stick with tradition and loyalty or embrace the winds of change, even at the risk of controversy and uncertainty? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the economics and strategy behind football's boldest moves, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more stories that reveal the hidden side of the beautiful game. The future is uncertain, but one thing is certain: Barcelona's